On this episode of the Certified Fangirl Podcast, we welcome Kellyn Champion. Kellyn is the founder, owner, and designer of Elder Emo Co. Don't forget the Co. A brand you've probably seen at your favorite tours and festivals like Is for Lovers, Good Things, and Vans Warped Tour. We talked about growing up in fandom from Disney to emo, what it takes to run a business on the road, how she built a community through merch, and how she stands out among a sea of emos, including her iconic green locker. You can currently catch her and her team at the Emo Orchestra until May 10th, so make sure to say hi and scoop up some cool Elder Emo Co. goodies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Certified Fangirl Podcast, where we celebrate fandom, spotlight the people behind the music, and bridge the gap between fans and the music industry. So I am here with Kellyn Champion of Elder Emo Co. Would you like to briefly introduce yourself and tell our audience where they may have seen you before? I'm sure they've seen you out and about.
Yeah, you might have seen me at a couple festivals before, but yeah, my name is Kellyn Champion, and I am the owner and creator of Elder Emo Company. I currently fend at a lot of music festivals all around the country. The biggest one that we've done to date is Warped Tour. We did Warped Tour last year for the return, and you will see us there again this year.
Yay. At all the dates or...
So
select?
I will be at all the US states, and I actually have a really exciting collaboration that I'm doing for Warped Tour. I am not going to release any details yet, but it will be pretty cool.
Okay, I'm really excited about that. I love like exclusive merch and all that kind of stuff.
We will be doing an exclusive run of stuff just for Warped Tour.
We first met at Is for Lovers Festival back in I think it was 2023.
Yeah. I think at the California one. I'm not sure if you were at the Colorado one. Were you?
No, I wanted to, but I was just at the California one, which was so much fun. Yeah, because I volunteered for that festival, and it was just, I mean, it's so much work. I don't think people realize how much work a festival is, like just putting in, loading out, and breaking. Oh my gosh, breaking down is like.
When you're dog tired, like at the end of the day, yeah, it's a lot.
You're just like, I just want to go home.
I just want to sleep. Yeah.
Just want a shower and sleep. Exactly. So when I met you at Is for Lovers Festival, where like I felt like you had been doing this for a while already. Like, what stage were you in back then? I mean, that was 3 years ago at this point.
So actually, that's a super good question. I started the company in 2021. I didn't start doing any in-person events like festival-wise until 2023. So actually, the Is for Lovers Festival was my first ever festival.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you had been like bubbling with the ideas.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. It was like my first time, so I was like just learning. And then once I kind of got through that like process of like looking around at like what other vendors do and stuff, and like how this process works every time, because it's like different at every venue, of course. So getting in the process of that is like the hardest thing. But once you get in and get loaded in, you're good.
What do you think was like the biggest learning curve when you were first starting to do like in-person events?
Honestly, I think for me, it was like the branding, like the signage, the like how I wanted things to look. Because honestly, for me, like as a graphic designer, it was like the shirts were more important, that I like almost put the other stuff in the back. And I was like, oh, I just got to get all these shirts out. But I always forgot about the signing, the branding. Like I had the tent, but I had like no signs. I had just some signs that I had like written prices on. Like it felt like I was very much a makeshift merch table. Like, how like a lot of merch dudes, they'll forget a Sharpie or something, or they'll forget paper, or they're just like, oh, I ran out of this. So then you just like, you got to adjust quickly. But that was my biggest learning curve. And now I have so many signage and all this stuff that it's like, it's too much now.
Now you're over prepared.
Yes, now I'm over prepared. So I'm actually like on the Emo Orchestra tour right now, and with a spilled canvas. And last night they came up to me and they're like, hey, do you have any tape? Like I need tape. So that they're trying to like put this really cool lampshade together with one of their posters actually. And so he's like, "Do you have any tape?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Man, you came prepared." I was like, "I tried."
You open like a suitcase of everything that anybody could ever want.
Yeah, tape, Sharpies, staplers, like I've got it all.
Yeah, that reminds me when I was volunteering at Sad Summer one year, and we needed like gaff tape like badly. We were just running around to all the different merch tables begging to use their tape. Like I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
they're like, okay, just bring it back. Like it's fine.
Yeah, because once they like take off with it, you hope you get it back because then you're just like screwed if you don't.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So you said you started Elder Emo Co in 2021. So what was the like initial idea and what sparked you to create this company?
So honestly, I was always the emo kid in school, and I know it's like more popular now to be an emo kid, but let me just say this: I was one of very few in my school, and so honestly, like I've had this conversation a couple times, and like thinking about it, I think for me, it was like the realization of how I don't know, like people kind of sometimes just make you kind of change as you get older, or they give you like their advice. They're like, hey, like, you should get a real job, or, you should, go to college and stuff like that, which I did do a lot of that. Like I did the traditional jobs, I did the college, I did all of that. And then I just wasn't happy. And I'm an artist, so I went to graphic design school and photography school. So I want to do something with like stuff that actually makes me happy. I started taking photos of bands and stuff when I was in high school. I wasn't super good at it. I was still kind of learning and grasping at it. But after I had gotten through the photography thing, I was like, okay, I kind of want to do this as my career, like something with music. And as I grew up, I kind of got shifted out of that because of like what people told me. So I was like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. Like it still makes me happy, but maybe I'll just do it on the side for fun. So yeah, I photographed some bands on the side for fun, mostly just a lot of like local bands that I'm friends with. And then I just was like, I don't like living this kind of lifestyle. I want to do something more. And so I never really found an in with photography yet, really. So I'm kind of hoping with doing Elder Emo Company, I can maybe do more with bands, like officially. But I was like, well, I kind of want to do something. And I just had the idea to start making like merchandise of my artwork. And I did posters for a while, but honestly, posters didn't really like take off as much as the apparel did.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I was like in this phase where I was emo in high school, and then I was in this weird phase where it was like, okay, I guess throw all that away and pretend to be somebody else. And like I went to college at Western Illinois University, joined a sorority, wore pink, and I was like, I hate my life. And then I was like, okay, it's time to go back to my emo roots, because that's what makes me happy. Like I still was listening to the music when I was in college and stuff. It was just like my identity seemed kind of lost. So then I decided to create this because it was mostly for myself, because I also had a lot of hard times finding apparel that I wanted to wear. Whether it's unless it was just band shirts, which I mean, who doesn't love band tees? But I wanted a little more, And I was like, okay, I kind of did it for myself. And then my friends really liked it. And then it just kind of like grew and grew and grew from there. And honestly, I'm super thankful for where I'm at right now. I'm glad that all my hard work has really paid off, and I'm very appreciative of that. But that's kind of the story of where I was and how I got here.
I love that so much. They tell us to like the whole, oh, it's just a phase. You'll grow out of it.
No.
And a lot of people do. I'm not saying that that's like not a thing that
Hmm.
happens. I know so many people that like, cause I was, emo in high school and growing up with the same music, and I'm still that way to this day. And it's just like, yeah, a small percentage of us didn't like that was our identity, and we kind of found it at that point in life, and people were,
Hmm.
trying to steer us in other directions, and it didn't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
work out because you can try to fight who you are, but then it's gonna come out one way or another. You can't fight the authenticity of like who you are.
Right. Right.
But
And like,
yeah,
I think that was a hard thing for me to learn, was to like, some people aren't going to enjoy what I'm doing and I might lose some people in that process, especially like family members, you know, like some people are supportive, some aren't,
yeah.
but it's like, you know, I'm happy with myself and that's all that matters.
Yeah, you're out here kicking ass. Like, come on, you're vending at all of these amazing festivals. You're on tour now. Like, it's incredible. And I'm sure you've met so many amazing people through doing this. Like, I'm sure bands have stopped by your tent and sung your
Yeah.
praises and everything. Yeah.
So actually at the Is for Lovers Festival, kind of going back to that, the very first festival I did was their Colorado date, 2023. And it was so surreal to me because like JT from Hawthorne and like I think a couple other people from the band, I honestly was so shocked I can barely remember, but they just like introduced themselves to me and they were just like, "Hey." And I was like, "What is happening right now?" I was like, "I'm just setting up my booth for the first time. I wasn't expecting that." Like, you know what I mean?
How was, do you remember what the weather was like at the Colorado date? Like, was it
Yeah,
decent?
it was super sunny. It was really nice. I didn't have any like weather issues because that's one thing you can run into a lot, of course, you know, with outside events is weather, but it was a beautiful day, honestly. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
I love that. I was worried that like your first festival experience was gonna have like bad weather or something, and I was holding on like, oh no, what's
No, it wasn't,
happening?
thank goodness. But I will say, like, that is something that's a huge challenge for not just me, but any vendor, any band. Like, the weather is so unpredictable and it can like just ruin everything in 1 minute.
Or the credit cards not working, like the
Oh, like the Wi-Fi.
the
Yeah, but
Wi-Fi and like the
honestly,
machines. Yeah,
that's a big issue at like big festivals too. So like
yeah.
Warped Tour, like honestly in Long Beach last year, my Wi-Fi was pretty spotty. I've learned though to just get Starlink.
Okay.
It is very much so worth the money for the bands, and you can share it with other people. And sometimes people will just give you money. They'll be like, "Hey, thank you for letting me use your Wi-Fi. Here's some money." Before, I haven't gotten my own yet. I will before this year's festival season starts. But last year, there was another vendor that shared their Wi-Fi with me, and I was like so thankful for that because the Wi-Fi that was given just was not great.
Yeah, you want to make sales, and then it's worth it to just have the money instead of like having to turn people away. Oh, sorry.
Right.
I know we're a cashless festival, but can't take your card right now. That's totally worth it. So was JT like Hawthorne, were they the first band to really welcome you into this professional setting of the scene?
Yeah, honestly, yes, it was them. And then Ben, he is kind of like he's involved with Hawthorne, but he owns the Emo Orchestra.
Mm.
And so I met him through the Is for Lovers Festival, and that's kind of how I got onto the Emo Orchestra, is by meeting Ben. So he's been super great at letting me be a part of this, and I'm super grateful for that as well. Like, it's really cool to be here with all these musicians and talented people and just hang out. And yeah, like with the Spill Canvas, and we have an opener this year for the Emo Orchestra, which is Grey Wind, and they came all the way from Ireland to be here. And it was my first time, like, not only meeting them, but hearing their music and everything. And like, oh my gosh, let me just tell you, I'm obsessed. Like, she kind of gives me Hayley Williams vibes, but like Irish.
I love that. Yeah, Grey Wind is really popping off. I'm excited because I'm going to Slam Dunk this year, my first time,
Oh,
and
cool.
they are opening for Tonight Alive at one of the side shows that I'm going to. So I'm really excited to see that, the girl power night.
Hey,
It's gonna be
yes.
awesome. But I'm also really just excited to see them in general because international bands, just it's hard to get them over here sometimes, and you want to take that chance. So I'm going over there. So I'm going over to England
Yeah.
to go see, because I'm like, you never know like what's going to happen with travel and visas and everything, trying to get over here, and money. Like, even the most successful bands, I feel like, are kind of having money issues and struggling with like how touring is this day and age. So it's like, whatever chance I can go see whoever, like, I'm gonna go take that. And so I'm really excited to see Grey Wind stage. I'm sure it's incredible, like you said.
Oh
So
yeah, no, she's great. She has a really great stage presence. She's super sweet. Her name's Steph, and then her brother Paul he's doing acoustic guitar for the orchestra, but I think normally he just does like regular like electric guitar. But he's like, I'm a little out of my element, you know, up here with acoustic, but he's like everybody's been so welcoming and makes him like feel his nerves are at ease, you know.
I feel like it's a different setting too because it's an emo orchestra, so it's already kind of like tweaked a little bit from what like the traditional sense of an emo show is. So I feel like people are more open-minded.
And some people like don't know whether they should sit or stand because you know if you go to like a show like an orchestra, they're like, oh, you know, there's all these seats, we should sit, and they're like, but it's an emo show, we should be up and moving. You know what I mean? Like
that is confusing.
So people are like, what do I do?
Do I sit? Do I stand? Do I wear the tuxedo? Do I like?
Right. Yeah, you get a good range of people that are dressing up, or just, you know, wearing their normal emo attire,
or like wearing a suit and then wearing Vans. I love that so much. When I see people wearing nice formal attire and then they wear Vans or Converse or something, and I'm like,
right.
Because that's how I would do.
I know.
Too.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure when I was even in high school, like for homecoming and stuff, I wore Converse or Vans because they were just more comfortable. I'm not wearing heels. No.
Well, no, my parents made me wear heels to the different dances, and I'm like, I just want to wear my slip-on Vans. Like
literally. Don't make me.
No, it's fine. So what was your introduction to the emo scene?
So that's a good question. It made me laugh a little. So I had this conversation earlier too, because actually when people are like, oh, what was your first concert? Depending on the person that asked me, I might tell them the truth. But the truth is, my very first concert was Hannah Montana and the Jonas Brothers in like 2009. But I mean, I still love Hannah Montana. I still love the Jonas Brothers. But I was like, you know, I kind of wanted to switch it up. You know, my parents, I'm from a small town in Iowa. So I grew up mostly with country music. And so I had this like really close friend that I had made in like third grade, which crazy story. We ended up finding out we were related. We were cousins, but I hung out with her like all the time. And she was like, listening to Circa Survive and Census Fail and stuff like that. And I was just like, I was like, let me listen. So like we were sitting on the bus and like sharing, you know, headphones one day, and she was just playing Circa Survive, and like then she like switched to Census Fail, and then she switched to like Fallout Boy, and I was just like, okay, like I'm obsessed. Like you have transitioned me to the emo world. It was like mostly her and her brother, because her brother was a drummer too, and he went to college at a musicians institute in California. And so he would share a lot of music with me as well, and he had his own band, and it just kind of like transcended from there.
First of all, Hannah Montana, there's pop punk in there. Hannah Montana, Jonas Brothers, like they even like Jonas Brothers had all these pop punk artists come and sing with them on their last tour. There's overlap.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Which is totally crazy.
It's interesting to see in this day and age.
I think people are just like their inner child is happy that they're allowed to, not necessarily allowed, but like more so outwardly allowed to celebrate these things that they loved when they were kids, and like had to kind of, I don't like Hannah Montana, what are you talking about, kind of thing. And now they're able to, you know, kind of be like, yeah, I've been there the whole time, what are you talking about?
Census Fail was technically my second concert, but a lot of the times I will tell people it's my first.
Okay. Depends on, you know, the setting and who's asking you, like you said.
But now that I'm like in my 30s and Hannah Montana's making a comeback, I'm like, yeah, it was Hannah Montana.
Yeah, exactly. And what year was the Census Fail show?
That was, I want to say it was either 2009 or 2010. I cannot remember. I was having this conversation with another vendor friend of mine. He runs the booth for Born Dead. His name's Chris. And he was like, oh yeah, he was talking about the show at Census Fail. And he's like with, who was it? Transit and Man Overboard. And yeah. And so I was like, I went to that show. And he's like, no way. And I was like, yeah, like that was like my first kind of like alternative rock, emo, punk show. Like I was like blown away. And he was like, that was also my first show. And I'm like, this is weird. How could we have gone to the same tour, like same for like the first concert? But I told him I actually still have that shirt from I saved it. I was like, okay, I have to save this shirt because it was my first, it's like good memory, core memory. My mom came with me. She stood in the back at the bar and hung out and was just like, this is nuts. But honestly, my mom's super cool. She loves going to these kind of things with me and like seeing me in my element. So she even has come with me to an Is for Lovers festival before, just to like sit there and like see what's going on and hang out. And like, she's so cool. But yeah, so she came with me and like she drove me because I wasn't able to drive. So she drove me there and took me home. And at the end of it, she was like, that was the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life, next to like wrestling.
Yeah, people are not used to it or haven't gone to shows or really like don't know about the scene that much. They go
Yeah.
to a show and it's just mind blowing to them.
Yeah.
It's just
And
a
so I
Tuesday night
saved that
vibe, so.
shirt and I told Chris, I'm like, I'm going to send you a Snapchat when I get home because I'm telling you the truth. I still have that shirt. It was my first show. And yeah, it doesn't fit me anymore, but I still have her tucked away in a drawer somewhere.
Like, you should frame it or something like
I
to
know.
preserve
I
it.
want to. My walls are so not the best with like hanging anything that's not paper. So
Um,
yeah, I'm just gonna hang on to it until maybe I can find a forever home for it somewhere eventually in the future.
I'm just picturing how people have like sports jerseys in those
Hmm.
glass cases, and I'm
Yeah,
picturing
yeah.
that with like I have no idea what the t-shirt looks like, but I'm picturing that with like a band tee.
It just says senses fail across the front, and then the
Uh,
back has like this is like my favorite kind of merch too, where they have a picture, of them like singing in the crowd
yeah.
and stuff.
Mhm.
So it's like a picture, and then I want to say it has lyrics on the back of it too, but I can't for the life of me remember what they say right now. But it's such a good shirt, and I was like, I'm saving this.
Sounds sick. Like one of those like hardcore
Yeah.
t-shirts. Okay. I love
Hmm.
that. That sounds sick. You said that like both of those shows, like the Hannah Montana Jonas Brothers and then the Census Fail, were
Yeah.
in the same time span, like a
Yeah.
year. You're like the two sides of my personality.
Yes. Literally Hannah Montana, best of both worlds.
Really best of both. I am familiar with Born Dead clothing too. I really like all their dad hats. I have a lot of those. So
Oh
shout
yeah.
out.
No. Love Born Dead. Yes.
Shout out Born
Shout
Dead. I
out to
see them
them.
at all the festivals too. They like everywhere. You start to see the same people over and over
Mhm.
again at all the festivals, and I'm like, hey, I know
Yeah.
you.
I've seen you before. Right. And so it's like kind of like how you've seen me a lot
Yeah.
because I saw you at the Is for Lovers Festival and then I saw you at Warp Tour and it was just like the multiple times you saw me, you were just like, hey, maybe we should like chat more. Wait, I think we ran into each other at, in DC, right? At
In
a
DC, at the cafe, like whatever cafe that was, it was like a breakfast spot. I think everyone from the
yes,
festival was like eating breakfast there, and then like
it
your
was so
husband was
good.
there, and
Yeah.
your husband was there, and we were just chatting about something, and he like pointed. I don't remember what the conversation was, but he was like, "Oh yeah, we're vending," and I looked over and I was like, "Wait, I know her."
I've
Like,
seen her before.
I've
Yeah.
seen her. Like, let me go say hi, which was like, such a cool meeting, just out in the wild. Because, why not like
Yeah.
introduce yourself or say hi to people? Because we're all here to build community. I feel like people want friends and they want to like kind of share their experiences. In this.
Absolutely. And that's honestly the most important thing to me is my friends and the community around me because like another thing that I do with Elder Emo Company is I not only make a lot of the designs myself, but a lot of people that I went to college with that they want to get their artwork exposed to the world and I'm just like, okay, let's make that happen. So I have a lot of t-shirts. I'll even say in the description like who made that design because I want to support my artist friends in any way I possibly can. So I'll collaborate with them to make a shirt design, throw it on my website, and then they're just like beaming with excitement because people love their art. So, and that's what I want to do. I want to do that for not only myself but other my friends.
Yeah, that's what we're here to do. We're here to like help each other out and build something.
And I've worked with some other artists that are like
Yeah.
a little bit more well known, like James. I know that he's made so many t-shirt designs for like lots of bands now, and his style's just kind of recognized a little bit like everywhere now because it's so oversaturated. So, which that's great for him. I'm glad he's making all the business and he's making a lot of cool stuff, and I've loved all the designs he's made for me. So I just want to keep doing that, but with like, you know, other people that aren't as out there.
So speaking of like oversaturation, I feel like with the emo resurgence, you know, everybody is kind of trying to get themselves in the game. How do you find yourselves, like, how do you stand out when you're making a design or when you're like applying to work at festivals?
So, with design wise, I just try to stick with things that I think people will relate to. Because honestly, the thing that I've noticed the most, and my favorite thing personally, is like when people come up to my booth and they instantly laugh, or they instantly are like, "Oh my God, I had this phone. Oh my God, I had this iPod," like something like that. I find a way to make the connection or I'll do like something kind of silly where it's like, I just made a whole bunch of new stickers that I'm actually going to release here in a couple days. I was a little behind on my sticker game, so I stepped it up, and I made one that says, I discovered emo music on MySpace. And I sold it for the first time last night, and people were like, "I love this."
Oh gosh, I need
So
that.
I try to like find things that relate to people, and like event wise, like if I'm going to be at a big event and I really want to stand out like Warped Tour, I brought in, I actually traveled like 4 or so hours from where I live to pick up this really huge neon green locker that I found on Facebook Marketplace for like $50. And I was like, I'm picking this up. I think that it'll be really cool to like display this locker and include everything that I would have put in it when I was in high school. And people loved it so much that they just like, they took pictures with it. They were like connecting with it. I put shutter shades in there so people could like put them on and take pictures and stuff. And honestly, it has made a huge, overwhelming crowd. Like, I don't even know how to like say this, but it's just so overwhelming because people like really, really love it. And I found a mini version actually of the same locker, like one that's like, I don't know, like this big. And it's actually an American Girl doll locker from like forever ago. I want to say like 2008 or something like that. And I was like, oh, this would be perfect for when I do small events and I can't bring the big one. So like for the emo orchestra, I can set it on the table and it's really small and people can still enjoy it. And people love that. It stands out. Like they'll remember me because they remember my locker, or they remember me and my hair, especially because my hair stands out.
That's true too. Yeah. People always remember hair colors, like no matter what. Like they'll come up to me and be like, "Oh yeah, I remember you. You have the green hair," and I'm like, "Yep, that's
Yeah.
me."
Yeah, literally.
Exactly.
Literally.
That's so funny because I was literally going to ask you about the locker because I think that is such an amazing touch and a great way to stand out among everybody else. And I just remember, I think when I first saw your booth, I think it was at one of the warps, and I saw the locker, and I think that everyone just gets hit with like nostalgia, and they feel really sentimental seeing it because it's most of us, it's part of like our upbringing, our past, and we see
Yeah.
certain things that kind of spark memories, whether it is like a memory of Warped Tour because it's like, oh, see shutter shades, and I'm immediately thinking of like 303 back at like the '08
Absolutely.
Warped Tour. Like that's immediately like the correlation I make. But if, for those people that have not experienced the locker, like would you want to tell everybody like what you usually throw in there?
Oh yeah. So I've got it's probably about like 5 foot tall, the locker, and I put in there a mix of different things. I have a backpack that I've had since high school that's like leather with like studs on it and stuff. So I threw that in there. I have an old Warp Tour shirt from, I want to say maybe it was 2014. I like customized it and had my name put on it. And I have, yeah, shutter shades, stickers all over it of like bands that I like or businesses, or like I'll even let people, if they're at Warped Tour and they want to, they can slap their own sticker on there. Um, but I've also got, I had a skateboard in there, but unfortunately in Long Beach, someone decided to steal it. So that
You
was
don't like that.
lame.
Mhm. Same.
um, but, or no, it wasn't Long Beach. I'm sorry. It was Florida. Yeah. It was the second day of Florida. I remember I walked up to my booth that day. I had closed up and like put everything away, but I it must have maybe still been out and someone found it and took it. So that was a bit of a bummer, especially because it was like a really cool skateboard. It was a Enjoy skateboard with a panda bear on it. I was really into skating and brands and stuff. Besides just Vans, like there were so many different skate brands that I liked. So I had like little skateboards in there. I had the big skateboard. I have um, bracelets in there. I have my old iPod in there, my iPod Nano. And then I had a Razor phone in there. I have some other phones in there that people would just like mess around with. And
Do you have a
I have
sidekick
my
in there?
old I don't have the Sidekick. I never personally had that phone.
Yeah.
I really was jealous for the people that did, but I have another one that does like slide still, that has
Uh,
like the full keyboard. And so I threw that one in there along with an LG Envy. It was
oh,
like it was like the phone that had like the numbers on it still on the front, but then you could like fold it open and it had the full keyboard. And it was like I really loved that phone. I miss that one. If I could go back to any phone, honestly, it would probably be that one. I love the OG Razor. I just loved the full keyboard still.
I remember like the touch of it, or like even like my first phone was a flip phone in the early 2000s. Yeah, the flip phone, and we would like. I was talking about this with my brother because we were in the mall, and I was talking about how like the mall kiosks had like the clip-on plates for the flip
Hmm.
phones that you would like change out, and you could like change the design.
Like the hard
I'm like,
plastic ones.
yeah, I'm like, oh my God, I sound
Hmm.
ancient right now. You have covers for your phones, is the same thing. Um,
Right. Yeah,
but
like right now I've got this Kuromi one on my phone.
yeah, so cute. Chromie's my favorite. So,
And what's funny is actually this one, it does, I'm so extra, like it actually does look like a phone and it has a mirror.
oh
So
my
I use this to like
God,
touch up my makeup sometimes.
that is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love like novelty. Yeah, I never had a sidekick personally either, but I just remember like lusting over them so much because all of like the coolest people had them, and they were, you were on MySpace posing with your sidekick. We had
Or like
culture.
people's names. Like if you would like I remember like I don't this is so random, but like Omegle. Like
Yeah.
when you would like meet people and like you wouldn't know if they were real or not, like they would like write a name or whatever on their hand or your name or whatever. So
Yeah, exactly. We're just talking about the locker is bringing up so many different feelings
memories.
inside and memories, and just like just great times. I mean, we it wasn't perfect, but we enjoyed it. Do you
Yeah.
see like, I know that the younger generations are coming to Warped Tour, a lot of people bringing their kids. Are
Right.
kids asking about like what those phones are, or what the tech is?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I actually just did a tattoo festival a couple weeks ago, and there was this little kid that comes up to my booth with his mom. And she even was like, she pulls the phone out of the locker and she's like, this is what mommy's phone used to look like. And like some parents will straight up explain it to their kids, which I love. And then there's some kids that are just like, what is this? Like, and it's so funny because then I'm just like, actually, that's what phones used to look like. And they're just like, weird. Like it used to have all these buttons on them. It's not just a screen.
Mind blown. That is so
Yeah.
funny. When I was growing up, like my parents wanted me to know about all the different like tech of the past, and we didn't like own everything. Like I've never touched like an 8-track or anything like that, but I mean for the most part, we wanted to know, or maybe I just wanted to know about like the different ways that music was consumed. So like learning about records, which are, obviously have been back, and now I feel like CDs are kind of coming back again. Like they disappeared, and then we have like the cassette resurgence. And so like, not saying we're gonna bring back the 8-track or anything like that, but people like, and then I see on TikTok people are buying like Y2K phones and tech on
Hmm.
eBay and trying to um use them again, or kind of have them for videos, whether it's like a period piece or something where they're trying to look like
Right.
Y2K, but like, or just trying to use it in general. Like I think I saw somebody actually using a razor or something on one of
That'd
their
be
videos,
dope.
and I'm like, okay, are we bringing this back? Like what's going on?
No, seriously. And I know that like the Razor is still around. It's just like new and improved, but it's just not the same. I
Refurbished,
want the
yeah,
OG one.
like yeah, I wanted that back in the day. Or do you remember, like, I found, I swear, I keep anything that's like Warp Tour related or music related. I just don't want to part with anything. But do you remember when they gave us like the little codes to like download music
Oh yeah.
on your phone or like download a ringtone?
Yeah,
Um,
yes.
like
Oh
that.
no, not the ringtones.
Or the ring back tones. Those, oh my gosh.
Oh, a lot of the times, like I didn't want to buy them because my parents, were like, "Oh, don't do that. Don't raise the phone bill." So like
Yep.
I would just, record something. Like I would record like a part of a song that I wanted and just set that as like my ringtone.
Oh,
And
see
it would
that?
sound not the best, but it worked.
Yeah, people could hear it exactly.
And I still
So,
have that to this day. Like my ringtone for my phone is actually a Pierce the Veil song.
oh really? See,
Yeah.
it never a phase. We just,
No.
exactly, exactly. I'm sure, like obviously, bands are going to come around more so back in the day, but sometimes during the Warped Tour, like last year, were there any reactions from bands to like the locker or your whole setup that really stood out that you remember?
So when we were in DC, because that was a much smaller
Mhm.
venue than the other ones, I got a lot more then, but that's also just I think because of the setup.
Yep.
When we were at like Long Beach and Orlando, all the bands were like so far away from us. Like they were in their own little island, and then the vendors were in their own island and everything. So not as much then. But at the first one in DC, where we had I believe Magnolia Park behind us and Scene Queen, and like they were literally just right behind us. Everybody was all packed into a very, very small space. So it was like more obvious for them to have to pay attention to me. So like Magnolia Park, they like really liked, not only my branding and like, the black and red and all that stuff, but they were like, "Oh my gosh, the locker," like their merch person was like, "Your locker is really cool." And I was like, "Thank you." So I do get a bit of feedback sometimes, but it's more of like when it's right in their face.
When they like have to walk by it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I went to all three last year, and the setup for I liked the setup for DC. I hope that they keep that how it was kind of like they were kind of scattered all in the same area, and then in Long
Hmm.
Beach it was like the bands were way over here, and then you guys were like over by like the body of water like over in the
Yeah.
corner, and it took me forever to find you guys like just the vendors in general, and even some of the
Yeah.
bands. I was like, where's that band's tent? Because it was like around the corner and like next to like
Hmm.
the porta potties, kind of like by the inflatable. It was like such a different setup, and
Yeah. It really
can be
was.
hard to, yeah, it can be hard to find if you're not like right there in somebody's face when they're like walking to a stage or walking right in your if your eyes don't see it, you're not gonna, unless you're
Yeah.
specifically looking for something, you're gonna like not see it. Yeah.
Right. And it was a little confusing for a lot of fans because I had people asking me where certain tents were, like for bands or meet and greets. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Like I'm just as lost as you are. And then Honey Revenge, they did a meet and greet right across from us in Orlando, like a signing
Mhm.
at the Gritty tent.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people were confused because they were looking for like a Honey Revenge tent,
Oh, yeah.
but they were at the Gritty tent. And so I don't think they got as many like, people as I think a lot of people were a little disappointed and confused.
Oh,
Cause
that's so.
even my friend who was like with me at Warp Tour, she was like
Mhm.
helping me in my booth and stuff. She even said to me, she's like, "Oh, I'm looking for Honey Revenge's tent." And I'm like, "Oh, I wish you would have told me that earlier because they were doing their meet and greet literally right across from us." And she's like, "You're kidding."
It makes me
And she
sad.
missed it because she was looking for it. And I was like, "Oh." And we
Yeah.
don't have the best phone service there. So it's hard to like be in contact with your friends and stuff.
Yeah. Or
So I
even
was like, "I'm
I was,
sorry."
yeah, that's, oh my gosh, that's so sad. I hope she gets to see them and meet them another time, or is going to this year's Warped and gets to do the meet and greet. But
Right. Yeah. Hopefully
yeah.
there's another chance.
Yeah, exactly. We hope. I feel like also when you said the service can be spotty, I feel like
Hmm.
the festival and the bands are posting updates on their socials, and people can't see that all the time because people just, I mean, aren't checking their phone as often because you're trying to like pay attention to the festival in general, but also with the service
Mhm.
being spotty, you're not going to see the updates. And I've been to festivals where we didn't have service like the whole time, so you can't see anything. If there's any kind of update, if anybody gets moved, if there's a schedule change, if there's any, you're not seeing any of that
No,
because everything
at
is,
all.
yeah, it sucks. And then later you get out of the festival grounds or like far enough away from it, all of a sudden you get all these updates to your phone and you're like, oh my god, I missed this signing, I didn't know they got moved from here to here.
I was literally right across from their tent, and I saw they were holding up a whiteboard sign that said Honey Revenge meet and greet 3 p.m. And I was like, it was literally right across from us.
Oh my gosh, I hope they get sorted out like this year. And I was thinking back to when before smartphones, when we would go to Warp Tour. I don't know what year was your first Warp Tour?
Either 2011 or 12. I can't remember actually.
Yeah, you were
It's
like
either
in the,
one of
yeah.
those.
It's all, they all blur together. I can only remember like one or two specific bands that were like from specific years. But yeah, and
Yeah.
like before that we would, there was no updates on social media. You'd have to like walk around and like see, they'd have the boards that say come back at this time, or they would do like the wristband system where you would be like the first 20 people at the tent, and then they would say, okay, here's a wristband, come back at 4 p.m. and you're in for the signing
I do
kind of
remember
thing.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
it's like, I'm thinking like, how do we do all the updates? How do we remember where to go or what to do? Like any of that stuff before all of this.
Yeah. And now it's like if we don't have like a phone in our hands or something, it's
Yep.
almost like we're like clueless.
Like, what am I doing? And I was like kind of
Yeah,
trying to like
where do I go?
tap back into the old brain that we used to use, kind of like we're in the Boy
Right.
Scouts trying to navigate the wilderness.
Honestly, that's how it feels too because we're in the blazing hot
Yep.
sun
Yeah.
on concrete usually. We're already like just so screwed up mentally from just like the heat and the
Yeah.
exhaustion, and we're just like, where do I go?
You know what? People need to do like they did back in the day where they would just put a sign on a stick and just walk around
Walk
telling
around,
people
yes.
everything. And I saw the Maine
Handing
doing
out
that.
CDs.
I saw the
Oh
Maine
yeah.
doing that at Warp DC, I'm pretty sure, last year.
Yeah,
Um,
because they didn't have a tent, I think.
yeah. And so Pat
They
was like,
did
"We
their meet
gotta
and
stop."
greet next to Emo's Not Dead.
And I was like, what year is it right now? Because you see like Pat from the Maine like just holding a sign walking around. I'm like, oh my God, is it 2009 again?
Honestly, I couldn't agree with you more because I think that if they had a couple people doing that, you would avoid that confusion that happened to my
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Like you're paying attention more, like you said, with the phones being spotty. I feel like people are more forcing them to be more in the moment
Hmm.
and present and kind of like in their body, because I don't know how many times where I'm like on my phone, I don't know what's going on or how much time has passed, and I'm just like focused on that, but it just kind of like like makes you focus on what you're doing right then and there, experience it like actually.
Oh yeah, I'm all for that 100%. Especially like it was so cool even people like seeing people bring digital cameras. Especially I saw that a lot in Orlando.
Hmm.
So I was like seeing so many people like bringing back that kind of like, I'm not even going to use my phone to take pictures. I'm using this. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
that's cool. I
that's
love
sick.
that.
Yeah.
I even brought with me, I brought like my camera so I could take pictures of like my booth or just like, the venue and stuff like that or
Mhm.
the show. But I also brought with me my old digital camera, like my family's old digital camera. And it's interesting. It still works. And that's all that matters. And so I'm gonna try testing out some pictures with that even because I think it'll
Yeah,
be a cool aesthetic.
I love that. Oh, I can't wait to see that. Um,
Yeah.
that's gonna be sick. Yeah, I feel like people are gonna really love that too. Also, really looking forward to seeing the new stickers because I saw on your stories like the box opening of all the different
Yeah.
sticker packs.
I've got a lot of new stickers, so I will have like I think like 15 or so new stickers coming.
I'm definitely going to get some. I love all your stuff. So I'm like, especially I think when I was at was it Warped Long Beach? Whatever Warped Tour it was, I ended up buying a bunch of your pins too, and I'm like, I need all these, especially the ones with the little checkerboard vans or like the MySpace Online Now pin. Like I was like, I need all this. Anything that taps
Oh
into that.
yeah.
Like you said, you're on. Emo Orchestra tour right now. Is this your
Mhm.
first like actual tour? Like, you've just done festivals before, right? You haven't done like a tour.
So this is actually my second, or no. I mean, I didn't do a full tour, but I did jump on some like tour dates for 4 Year Strong in
Mm,
2024.
yep.
And then I also did the emo orchestra in 24. So I did
Okay.
about 4 weeks of the tour of the emo orchestra tour in 24. I didn't have an assistant at the time, so I had to I sold out of stuff, which is a good thing. But I sold out of stuff and then I had to leave. I was like, okay, well, I don't have anything to sell. So I had to go home and make more stuff and then jump back on. Cause I also screen print everything myself, like all of the t-shirts, which I do have someone helping me now, but it's just me and her. We just screen print together. My assistant Alyssa has been helping me like with screen printing and just trying to get some stuff caught up. So while I'm on this tour, if I happen to run out of something, she can print it for me.
Definitely like having an assistant, I'm sure has kind of upped your game a little bit than having to do everything yourself.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Doing everything yourself is so hard. And like, it is truly amazing how much you can do when you put your mind to it, though.
Yeah.
Cause my assistant was like, "You did this alone?" Like, I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "That's actually insane."
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. She's like, "I love whatever's wrong with you."
With the touring, how is that different than just working like a festival?
So doing the tour, the biggest things is mostly just like the size of my setup because
Mhm.
normally I can bring like a tent, and all this stuff to festivals. But normally when I go to a show at a venue, it's like you get a very, very small spot. I have enough room for like one table and that's about it. So I have to scale things down. I have to figure out like adjust how I'm going to set up my apparel, especially because the biggest thing I ran into in 2024, and this is where I learned from my mistakes, is like I had no way to hang up shirts at a lot of the venues if they didn't have extra like grid walls. I was just kind of screwed. So I would have to fold the shirts and put them on the table and just hope people would see them. Because I think the biggest thing that's the most important is if you don't put something in front of people's faces, they're more than likely not really going to take the time to look at it. So I was like, okay, for 2026, doing this tour again, I was like, I'm not going to do what I did last time. So I actually created this really cool backdrop that is like aluminum frame. It's just like a square pretty much. And I can hang all of my shirts on that. And I have like my backdrop that kind of looks like my tent and on one side, and then the other side is like more for if people want to take pictures or stuff like that. But it's got my new stickers and some of my old stickers, like the designs all over the place on the back. And so I was like, I have to have something to hang my shirts. And it's been a huge game changer for this tour. And it was so much of a game changer that the guys from the Spill Canvas are like, "Can we get one of those?" And I was like, I mean, I'm a graphic designer. I'll make one for you. So I'm kind of in the works right now, talking to one of the guys from Spill Canvas about creating something for them so that they can have it for not only the rest of this tour, but just the future.
That's exciting. Like a band
Yeah,
exclusive design. That's like the dream, right? That's
right. When they
people
asked me, I was like, I mean, yes, I would. I'd be honored. Yeah, I want to get this done for you, and it'll look so good. I think too, like more professional.
yeah. You're like, yeah, I just work with a spill canvas. No big deal. Like, I have a band
Yeah, I'm just
who
gonna create like a cool backdrop for them. No big deal.
people love, like you said, if it's not in front of their face, if it's not handed to them, people are not going to really notice or like take the time to go somewhere and dig through shirts or like try to find something. They need something to catch their eye
Yeah.
immediately or they're not going to care.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Exactly. And another thing that I did too to kind of help with that is I started handing out free stickers. Like as soon as they walk in the door, I'm like, "Hey, you want a free sticker? You want a free sticker?" And then people are like, "Yeah." And then they come over and look at what I have. So it
yeah,
works.
exactly. People love free stuff.
Yeah.
Free stickers, free pens, like yeah, I love that stuff too. So I was like, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
And also having a photo op at your merch table is brilliant. People love that. Repost, tag you, whatever. Like people can
Yeah.
ask, like, where is this? Where did you take this picture? Who's that? Kind of get the word out that way. And like kind of like a word of mouth, but just like digital.
Right. And the
So,
biggest thing that I've kind of been going through right now is like there's like other Elder Emo pages kind of flying around, and there's a lot of people getting confused with like them and me. So like the biggest thing I can do is like just as much as possible like branding with photos, especially because like with the locker I wrote in there like my Instagram at name, and so it would be hopefully easier for people to find me, because especially at places like Warped Tour when you don't have phone reception,
yeah.
it's hard for people to like, because I have QR codes, but what good is that going to do if no one has phone service? And
Exactly.
I also am not a huge fan of doing business cards because I'm very like eco-friendly, and I just think that they end up on the ground or in the trash. And the only other thing I could think of doing is like stickers. So I resorted to stickers because then at least like people will probably use them. Always emphasize we are Elder Emo, and I do have the official trademark now for Elder Emo, but it is company. So I always have to tell them, like, when you're looking for us on socials or our website, it's Elder Emo Co.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't get confused because there is a lot of Elder Emo accounts and it can get
Yeah. Or
confused.
like fan pages, even like, and that's cool. I get it. But it's like, it's hard and gets confusing. So I'm trying to find ways to eliminate some of that confusion.
Did it take you a while to come up with like the name for your company, or did it just come to you? Were you just like, yeah, Elder
It
Emo?
was instantaneously because like I was sitting in, this was COVID. So it was like 2020. I was sitting in my apartment and I was like, I know I want to start a business, but I don't know what I want to 100% do yet. But I was like, I know I want to do something with music. So it was like not hard at all for me to at least come up with the Elder Emo name. And then I was like, once I have the name, then I can go from there.
So you came up with the name first and then you just created around
Yeah,
the
the
name.
products around the
Yeah.
name. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
easier.
A lot of my products will say Elder Emo Co on them so that hopefully
Mhm.
people will also, avoid the confusion.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
hope so. Yes. Elder Emo Co, everybody.
Yes.
all all the other accounts are not Kellyn. There's somebody
Right.
else.
Well,
Exactly.
and I had another podcast too that had like talked about my business, and they used the wrong website and like the wrong information. So I always am just like, it's company co.
Yes, double check that, people.
Yes. Make sure.
You go to your website and you would automatically see that it's your products, or
Yeah. Yeah.
you tell when it's not. Your products do stand out with like your particular design. Like I loved when you did the Valentines, like those were such a good idea, having like the physical
I brought those with me
Valentine.
and people are loving them.
Yeah. Like that's a really cool
Yeah.
way to stand out because people weren't really doing that, or like at least the physical ones, no. But I feel like that's a really cool collector's item. Like I got one for my friend, and then I got one for me. Like I think
Yes. I'm
the my
glad you love
my
them.
sister yours one that I
Yeah.
love. So I'm like, that's for me because I'm gonna get Valentine's for myself.
Yes, always love yourself.
Exactly.
To come up with those like little products that are just like kind of different that you don't
Yeah.
see, like the cards. And I was doing candles for a while, but like when business picked up, I couldn't keep up with it. So
Yeah.
eventually I would like to circle back to that because they got super popular on TikTok. Like I got like almost or it was like 500,000 views on that video, and I got so many, like that's kind of what blew me up. Besides, I had made Elder Emo beanies. So my first product that blew up was my Elder Emo beanies and my tumblers, which I do not sell anymore because the supplier I had doesn't sell them, so I haven't found a new one. But it was the tumblers and the beanies, and then it went to candles. And it's like sometimes, even though most of my stuff is like apparel based or accessories, like it would be those random one-off things like the tumblers or the candles that really got the attention. And creating those unique products like that, I think, is key, because like you can find a lot of shirts, you can find a lot of stickers, but you can't find emo themed candles. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like what makes you stand out? It's funny because my friends and I, shout out Never Phase Network, my friends and I,
Yay.
we've been talking about different merch items that like bands can do to kind of make them stand out, because it's like, okay, I own 500 black t-shirts, or I own all of the same things over and over again, but like what can bands do to like, or companies in general do to stand out? And like you said, with your candles, like that's so different. I don't see anybody making candles or just something that's like one off and oh, remember like, remember that brand that made the candle like that?
Yeah.
That's so cool. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I would like to bring them back again this winter when I'm kind of slower. So hopefully I'll do that.
that's exciting. Is it expensive to like make and sell a candle, kind of manufacture it that
um,
way?
So I make all of the candles myself too,
Yeah.
but not the jars. So I just order the jars, and once I get those in, honestly, it's pretty easy and it's kind of therapeutic. Like when I'm really like stressed out or anxious, like I can just kind of isolate myself, throw on. I literally have my old like iPod Nano, like I said, and I put it on my docking station because it still works. I put it on the docking station and I play my emo music and I just like make candles and it's just fun. It's not super expensive, but
Yeah.
it's honestly like for me, it's not even about the money. It's just about having fun and being true to myself.
When I think about like candles, I feel like it's this not necessarily like a bougie thing, but oh, they make candles. Like how fancy. Like
And people love, I put in the label, it says like a candle line to burn away your sadness.
love a good little quip like that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So when you think about everything that you're building with your brand, Elder Emo Co, uh, what what do you see for yourself and your company in the future? Like what's the
Um,
vision?
So I just actually did my very first music festival this past December out of the country. I went to Australia, and so I'm trying to maybe just expand on touching into those or tapping into those like markets out of the country. It's kind of big and scary, but I mean, I just did my first one and I feel like once you get through that first one, it's not as scary after that. So I think I might be looking into doing some more festivals out of the country in my future. That's what I'm hoping for because I mean, like I am so happy that Warped Tour is back, but it almost kind of like took over a little too much, if that makes sense. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Warped Tour, but it's like, we lost Is for Lovers Festival because I think, I don't know for sure, but you kind of put the two together. It's like, well, how can you compete against something like that? And so it's like, I feel like the music festivals that we're going to start seeing here in the US are going to start dwindling and because you're going to have the big ones like when we were young, Warp Tour, stuff like that, taking the
Like
big,
monopolize it.
right. So it's like you're taking a big chunk of the community right there. And so honestly, foreigners, like Australians especially, they eat up American brands and bands, like both. And so as soon as I went to Australia, I mean, it was like people were flocking to me just because they wanted to even just talk to me. So
They're like, we love
I'm
your
kind of
accent.
hoping, yes, that's exactly what it is. It's my accent. Um, which to us is not an accent, but
Yeah.
to them it is. And so, yeah, looking into like building into different countries is kind of what I think what I'm looking forward to in my future.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Was it Good Things Festival or was it
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I remember you posting about it, and I mean, yeah, it's a dream for me to like attend any. I mean, like I said, I'm going to Slam Dunk this year, which is like my first like
That's so
attending
awesome.
international festival, and it's like you guys need to be over there too. Just
I
like
want
start making
to
your
so
way.
bad. I actually had the opportunity to, I think last year, but it was like so early in the year for me. I wasn't like prepared.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then I was like, well, maybe next year. Well, I haven't like the connect that I have for some of my festivals wasn't offering that one. So it might be a different person that I have to contact.
yeah.
So I was going to, but then I had the emo orchestra and I was like, I've done this before. I love this experience. So I was like, I'm gonna do this instead.
Like I have too many offers. It's just too
Yeah.
much. Too many
Too
things
many
going on.
options.
So when you work Good Things, what do you think, like, what was the biggest difference from doing that and versus US festivals?
Way less stressful
Really?
because honestly it was insane. So like you know how when you're doing events and stuff you usually have to have your ID on you or something so they can like verify who you are, or even just having like your pass or
Yeah.
something like that so they know who you are. But in Australia they just believe you. Like me and the guys from Mosh It Up, we all kind of walked in together because it was me, Mosh It Up, and the Pretty Cult. We were the only brands from America that came for the festival. And so we kind of all like tag teamed everything because she like, or the vendor coordinator I was working with and with the Pretty Cult and Mosh It Up, we like all just kind of knew each other from all the events we've done. So we all just like tag teamed everything. And it was really, really nice because I had help because I was alone. So I had help from other people that I already knew. It was just like way less stressful because we tag teamed like loading in, everything was smooth. It was so bizarre. I just walk in and I'm just like, I have my ID ready. And I'm like, oh, I'm a vendor here. We came from America, stuff like that. And they're just like, okay. And I'm like, that's it?
You're
No,
like, I have my
nothing else.
passport.
Yeah. I have my passport, my ID, whatever you need. And they were just like, okay, just find your spot.
Wow.
I was like, wow. And then she was like, oh, and there's some sunscreen over there too. And I'm like, you guys are even providing sunscreen? This is insane.
My God, that sounds amazing. Yeah, I need to get over to Good Things Festival. Obviously, because lineups are insane for that festival. I cannot even believe the bands that they pull and the combination of bands that they have. But it just sounds like an amazing experience too.
A really good experience. For it being my first experience in Australia, period, it was very great.
Did you take time after or before to sightsee and explore Australia?
So I came like 5 days early to Brisbane. Or no, where did we start? Sorry, Melbourne. We started in Melbourne because it's a 3-day festival, but you do Melbourne, Sydney, and then Brisbane. And they're all like back to back. And I think that was the most stressful part of it was the flights, like packing up, fly to your next spot. So like the lack of sleep was the only thing that I think made it really hard. But besides that, it was like way less stressful just being at the festival in general. I got there 5 days early in Melbourne. And I did a little bit of sightseeing. And then Sydney, since it was the in between, I didn't have any time in Sydney to do anything. So I saw the Opera House. I think that was maybe about all I really needed to see. And then we went over to Brisbane and I stayed there, I think 5 days after the festival as well. So I had 5 days in Melbourne, 5 days in Brisbane. And I just like, I saw, I went to like a lot of cool local spots. I did some swimming, like beach, stuff like that. It was bizarre. I had a friend at the exact same time in Brisbane and we had met each other at a music festival like a couple years ago, and we're not like the bestest of friends or anything. We don't talk a whole lot, but we're just like acquaintances. So she saw on my Snapchat that I was coming to Australia, and she's like, no way. She's like, I think we're going to be in Australia at the same time, because she was going for to see Flip Turn. I've never heard of Flip Turn before, but that's what she was there for. And she was like, yeah, like let's meet up and have dinner in Brisbane. And I was like, okay, cool. So I got to meet up with at least somebody that I knew, which was also nice.
Like the chance meeting, like, oh hey, we're both in Australia. What are the odds? Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, take the opportunity and just hang out.
Do you have any international festivals or tours or anything like that on the books for this year, or?
So I have a couple things in mind, but I'm not solidified on anything quite yet, since a lot of those festivals aren't till like the end of the year anyways.
Yeah.
But I'm looking into either doing Good Things again, or there's another potential opportunity that'll arise in January. I think January or February, but I don't have all the details on it yet, so I'm not super sure.
Well, I hope those opportunities work out for you. That's sick.
Thank you.
Your name out there. I feel like they should also ask you to be on like any of the cruises, any of the music cruises would be great. Emo's Not Dead, Day to Remember just announced they have they're doing a cruise, or
that is insane. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different cruises out there, music cruises, through Sixth Man, and I feel like that would be an amazing opportunity for you as well to kind of
Yeah.
get you out there. But I don't know what their stance is on like having vendors aside from just like their own personal brand and then like the bands that are on their cruises. Cause, you know, like with Emo's Not Dead, like they're already doing a bunch of like Emo's Not Dead products. So it's like, do they want to have like would that get confusing? I don't know. But I
Yeah,
feel like it
that's
would be
something that
awesome.
I've talked about too, is
Yeah.
like, I think that it's like, since we're both emo brands and like it is
Yeah.
his, you know, Matt's cruise,
Yeah.
it's like I've had the opportunity before and like for the past couple years, and it's just like the only reason I haven't pulled the trigger on it is because it's like, well, it's his brand, you know, and it's his like
Yeah.
cruise. So it's like I feel like I would just kind of almost be stampeding on it in a way, even though I know I wouldn't be. But it's like I know everybody can share and be like, oh, you're welcomed in the community and stuff, but it's like I just worry that, you know, there could potentially be an issue with having two of the same thing there, especially because like I said, he owns it. So I haven't personally made that decision like to jump in and sell. Also, I've heard a few things from some other vendors about like vending on cruises, and it's a bit complicated, honestly. It's not as cut and dry as you might think. So it's like
Another
you
learning curve.
have, yeah, another learning curve, especially because, you know, they're traveling to like Mexico. And so it's like then you're taking your merchandise to another country, and then you have to deal with like taxes and all that other stuff and border like issues, like them going through your products and stuff. And
Yeah,
it's just like,
it's a
it's so
lot.
much. Yeah. So I would like to do the cruise and just attend it. I think that's what I'm going to do this coming year, honestly, as long as I don't have another date conflict issue, and just enjoy it. Honestly, I think that would be more fun.
Are you going on Emo's Not Dead next year?
I would like to, as long as it
Yeah.
doesn't conflict with like
Like
another
something else.
festival.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, well, I'll be there. So if you decide to go, we'll be on the cruise. So it'll be
Yeah, we can hang
such a fun
out.
time. Yes, I love it. It's so much fun. You're always like, it's so fast paced because you're doing something literally every hour of the day because the schedule is so packed. But it's amazing, and just like you run into so many friends, and just in fact Danny from Mosh It Up was working for Sixth Man when I was like last time when I was on the cruise in January, and he was just like,
Hmm.
you know, in the lobby, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, what's
Yeah, he
going on?
actually, I talked to him after he got back from that cruise, and he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I worked for Six Men doing it.
Yeah, it's, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I'm sure working it is, you're there to work, but obviously like you get to see bands too. I saw him hanging out and watching bands, and you know,
Yeah.
it seems like an amazing opportunity.
He was doing like ADA too, so his job wasn't like super busy, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, shout out Six Man Crew because they're awesome. Yeah, I feel like everybody really appreciates them. I hope that even though with how complicated it seems to kind of be on a cruise, I hope that you get that opportunity to get your merch out there in that way, or have that
Yeah,
experience.
it would be pretty unique, that's for sure.
Exactly. I mean, like, yeah, other people do it, so why not? I mean,
Right.
would there be like, is there a band that you would, if they like had a cruise, would you jump on that opportunity?
So I've been saying this for a while now. If I ever, even not even just a cruise, but even
Yeah.
just a festival, something, if
Yeah.
I could ever vend at the same festival that Bring Me the Horizon is playing at, I would pass away.
We're
Pass away.
manifesting that for you. Yes. Bring
I
you.
really wanted to do the oh my gosh, Danny Wimmer festivals, because I know that they have Bring Me the Horizon and MCR as their headliners.
Yeah.
But unfortunately they just don't have any spots, because a lot of the people that vend there already, they're gonna come back and they don't have any like new spots open.
Well, once those people, somebody kind of shifts or moves, you're in. We're
Yeah.
manifesting that for you. That'd be incredible. Yeah, that'd be so cool. So, shout out to Elder Emo Co for being here. And then obviously there are other companies that you've worked alongside at shows and festivals. Would you like to talk about any of them, or people that you kind of like have known while working at these different events?
Yeah, so honestly, I really love the dudes in Mosh It Up, Danny, JP, and Danny has his brother and his wife sometimes come along to help out. So I love them too. They're all super good people, love their products. And the Pretty Cult, honestly, this is a little bit of a story. I haven't like publicly shared on like a podcast, but Ariel is actually the person that reached out to me and like connected me with getting me into this kind of life. The owner of the Pretty Cult. So I love her. She's awesome. I love her crew. I'm super grateful that she, you know, kind of gave me that information and took a chance on me. Um, but yeah, she even said to me when I did the festival with her in Australia, she's like, you know, I just saw that you were doing something cool. And she's like, she's like, if I give you the information, what you do with it from there is up to you. She's like, so it is really all you. And I'm like, well, I know that, but still I'm really appreciative of like her just, you know, giving me that info even and like wanting to help me. So it's not always like, you know, gatekeepy, I guess is what you could say. You have people out there that do want to help. Love the Pretty Cult. I love Mosh It Up. They've been super helpful with me for the past couple years now. And then yeah, the dudes in Born Dead, they're pretty cool. Thrash Happy. Love that brand. She's got some killer sunglasses. um but yeah, no, those are my homies that I'm usually around at festivals. So if I'm not under my tent, I'm usually at theirs.
I'll say it. Everybody's probably seen all those tents too. I mean, they're pretty much at
Yeah.
all the festivals as well. I'm sure everyone's familiar. I feel like highlighting community is important and not being gatekeepy anymore. I feel like people are more open to sharing where they find things or how they got the in for this particular festival or show or who they know or their connects. And I feel like people are more willing to share that. And we love that kind of just helping each other out and just being there in that kind of way. I love that kind of like building community and making these friendships through music. I feel like most of us are making friendships that are going to be lasting a lifetime just based off of this. Like, who knew that listening to this music
Right.
was going to forge these kind of friendships and these bonds with people that just based off of, oh, I like this band too. Let's be friends kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I love
No,
that.
and I love it too, being a vendor and talking to people and like them just telling me their favorite bands or telling me their, you know, about their dogs because I have some shirts that I sell that are of my animals. And so like I have two shirts that are of both my dogs. And so then people will share stories with me about their dogs or like pictures and stuff. And it doesn't always have to be about music to connect still. I mean, obviously like the biggest reason I am there is for the music. So I love sharing not only what I like to listen to or, you know, concerts I've been to and stuff, but like I love it when people want to talk to me about like concerts they've been to or what their favorite album is right now. I will take the time to step aside from my booth and let my husband or my friends work and talk with you about music. I'll do that.
And I'm sure people really appreciate that because just taking the time for another human being is like few and far between
Yeah,
in this
it
day and age.
is.
So where can people find you? I know you're on tour right now, so you're not stationary at the moment, but yeah, where
Not
can
at
they
the
find
moment.
you? When's how long is the tour running? All that kind of stuff.
So I'm actually going to be on the tour until May 10th. The tour goes a little bit longer than that, but they're stopping in, I think it's like the closest to home for me. So it's Chicago on May 10th, and then I'll go home from there. But yeah, I will be on the Emo Orchestra tour with Spill Canvas and Grey Wind until May 10th. And then after that, I will be going back home to get some orders ready to go. I've been a lot of stuff that's sold out on this tour. Like people are going to my website and buying it online. So, which is great. So I'll have some work to do when I get home too. And my assistant will have some work to do. And yeah, you can find us at elderemoco.com. Don't forget the co. But yeah, you can shop everything that we have online there. Our first, I think, big festival of the year is going to be Warped Tour DC in June.
Yes,
Yeah.
exciting. That's coming up
So that's
because
where we'll be.
we're already in middle of April, so I mean
I
June.
know it's going to happen fast.
Yeah, it'll be there, and hopefully the weather will be a little bit better than last year because it'll still
Oh
be
yeah,
fun.
it did rain at the end. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, but it'll be
Yeah.
fun. Anyway, but thank you, Kellyn, for being here. I appreciate it. And I like really
Yeah.
wanted to, I was really interested in hearing your story because when we first met, it was just like, oh, you're here. And this is like, how'd you get here?
Right.
I
How is
wanted
this
to know,
happening? Yeah.
I want to get your whole story. But yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored, honestly. I was really excited to do this because I'm like, oh, I know who she is. I've seen her so many times. I'm like, I'm excited.
Yes, awesome.